everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another air garden experiment video all about growing Thai eggplants. I discovered these seeds in a seed catalog and I was immediately interested in them once I saw the picture. They have a really distinctive look to them. They're a bright, deep purple. They're quite glossy and shiny, and they have these little ridges to the fruit. They're kind of like small little mini pumpkin sized, and they look like a cross between a purple tomato or a purple pumpkin. They're just super cute, and I was very excited to give them a shot, see what they tasted like, see how easy they were to grow. I'm always looking for kind of unique, fun varieties of vegetables to try growing indoors, the ones that I can't find at the grocery store. And I have never seen these Thai ribbed eggplants at any Asian grocery store, so I was pretty intrigued by them. The only thing is, I've never really been a fan of eggplants taste-wise. In fact, I used to think that they were like soggy sponges, but then I started eating Asian eggplants and I realized that there are so many different varieties, and some varieties taste better than others. So Asian eggplants tend to be smaller, thinner. They come in like two main forms. There's like long, skinny ones, something similar to like a Japanese or a Chinese style eggplant. And then there's like a Thai or Indian style that tend to be small, circular, round little eggplants. So I thought I would grow one of each, and I grew a Chinese and this Thai ribbed one. I'll put the growing experiment for the Chinese one up here if you want to check it out. But yeah, they're both really fun to grow. And let's get into the actual growing process. In general, eggplants really like the heat. They're in the same vegetable family as tomatoes or peppers, so they like full sun. They like the summer heat. Basically as hot as it can get, the better. You'll see them really start to take off as the temperature increases. So if you're going to start these indoors, make sure that you either have the house warm, or you can use something like a heat map to start the seeds. I ended up direct sowing these. I get the empty sponges and pods from Air Garden. They're like Air Garden compatible. And then I grew them directly in my Air Garden farm. So there's a couple different models with Air Garden, but basically they're all indoor hydroponic gardens that do all the heavy lifting for you. So they take care of the watering, the light schedule, they remind you when to add nutrition. They just make it very easy to grow indoors, especially when you're growing something a little bit more complicated like eggplants. I would recommend using a bigger model like the farm to grow eggplants. You really need the space. They get both wide and tall. So I use the Farm 12 XL for this experiment, and I definitely think you want to use the XL Farm if you're lucky enough to have one. They went on like super discount a couple months ago, and then now that it's the holidays, they're probably on sale again, so hopefully you can snag one for a good price. If you don't have a farm, then what you want to look for are dwarf eggplant varieties. Fairy tale dwarf eggplant variety, but I haven't been able to find dwarf Asian eggplants. So these are considered like regular full-size eggplants, and for these you will want at least 3 feet of grow height capacity. In general, Thai eggplants take about 70 to 80 days to grow. So if you're growing these outdoors, you want to make sure you have enough time so that they hit maturity right in the summer season. If you're growing indoors, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can start them whenever you like, although like I said, they really do like a warm environment. So if you keep your house on the colder side in the winter, then maybe start these in the spring or summer. I planted these in early May. I did have a bug problem, so I had to take them out and then put them back in. I took them out quite early though, when they were still in that like baby seedling phase. So I would say I put them back in July, and then 2 months later in like early September, I was able to start harvesting. The one tricky thing about growing eggplants is the pollination. They are definitely a little bit finicky, and they do require a little bit of you kind of going in and manually pollinating them. I was not able to ever have Thai eggplants produce fruit on their own. I always had to go in and manually pollinate them. So that's just something to keep in mind. These take a little bit more effort, but I think they are worth the effort. The flowers themselves are really pretty. They're like purple, light pink flowers, and they get they spread open really wide, but you want to make sure that you're pollinating them at the right time. So the inside has these like little yellow stalks, like little pollen things, and that's where the pollen is, and you want to gently tap it and gently rub it so that the pollen mixes. When you do it, if you get really close, sometimes you can see the pollen itself floating out of the flower, and then that's how you know that the pollen is mixing around. But you never really know if you've successfully pollinated until the flower drops and dries up. So it can definitely be a little frustrating in the beginning when you just keep seeing flowers dropping. But don't get discouraged, just keep going in every single day and pollinating them. I have found that Asian eggplants have a short window for like the optimal pollination. Basically, even though you see the pink flowers, it's when the yellow stalks inside the, I'm not sure of the actual scientific name for it, but the little yellow stalks, they should be kind of soft and able to be like mixed. Once those harden, the pink flowers will still be there, but it's kind of too late for pollination. So as you like grow them, you'll get the hang of it. Just in the beginning, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was like, why are they not pollinating? Why are like no fruits coming? But just give it some persistence, have a bit of patience, and eventually you'll start to see little eggplants forming, and they are super cute. They start off already dark purple, and they're little round globes, and then the little fruit just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I said, they look like little purple pumpkins. They're so cute. The eggplant plants themselves are quite sturdy. I don't think you need to trellis them. The leaves get huge. If you find that they are getting a little bit too crowded or that moisture is building up on the leaves, then you can remove them. Moisture building up in between leaves that are stacked on top of each other can lead to like fungal diseases. So just try to maintain a lot of airflow. You can use a little fan to give it more air circulation and to also help with pollination. But in general, these plants want to get as big as possible. So definitely stay on top of the nutrition and also the pruning. And then eggplants at their peak ripeness will look really glossy and shiny. That's when you want to harvest. Once the color doesn't change, but the glossiness will gradually fade and look a little bit more dull. And if that happens, then you've left it too long. As the eggplant gets more mature, it'll start to produce seeds inside the fruit. And in general, you want to pick it before those seeds have developed because it will just taste a lot better. The flesh should be kind of like plump. If you touch it, it'll have a little bit of give to it. You don't want it to be too firm. A little bit softer is fine. The younger it is, the more tender eggplants tend to taste. So if anything, I would err on the side of picking it too early rather than too late. And then the Thai eggplants tend to have thorns, so you have to be a little bit careful when you're harvesting them. I recommend using like strong kitchen shears or gardening scissors, and you, at the base of the plant, just cut it and just watch out for the thorns. You don't want to pull on it because the eggplant fruit stem is actually really, really strong, and if you pull it, you'll kind of damage the whole plant, so definitely make sure to cut them. Unfortunately, I would say the production is a little bit low on these. I only ever got about 1 to 2 fruits per plant, which for the amount of effort involved with the pollination is a little bit frustrating. Now that I know how to pollinate better, I would say, you know, maybe I would get more fruits, but the first time around definitely was not enough fruit for the effort, even though the fruit tasted really good. And then the eggplant plants itself can continue to produce more fruit, so don't just kill it after the first harvest. Let it go again. It'll produce new flowers. You pollinate those, and you'll get a second, third, fourth round of harvest, depending on how long you keep the plants. I ended up pulling them. I left on vacation. I just didn't really have the time to dedicate to them, so I pulled out the plants. But I was able to get at least 2 harvests in, so I do think they're worth trying to grow. And then once you harvest them, try to use the eggplants within 3 to 5 days. Tastes best right when they are at that peak maturity, like I said. I like to eat them primarily in tempura form. I picked up this Japanese tempura batter, which is like a really light batter coating. So even though you're deep frying them, they taste super light and not greasy or heavy or anything like that. I've also tried doing like a mini eggplant parms. Because these are small and round, I cut them into like round slices. I find that that does best. But yeah, overall, definitely, they're really easy to eat. They taste really well, really good. If you have any eggplant recipes that you like, send them my way. I'm always looking for different ways to use eggplants. Oh, and then you definitely don't need to peel these or soak these. Sometimes people like to peel the skin off eggplant because they think it makes the vegetable taste bitter. These have super thin skins, so you don't need to do that. You also do not need to soak them in water. There's very few seeds, especially if you pick them at the optimal time, so just no need to bother with any of that kind of prep. And yeah, overall, I would highly recommend growing these. They're super unique, super fun to grow. Every time someone came over, they were like, what is that? It's just a really distinctive vegetable that you can't really find at the grocery store, so I think it's always worth growing something different. And yeah, aside from that like initial hurdle during the pollination phase, they were overall pretty straightforward to grow. So not too difficult, definitely think you can do it, especially if you have something like the Yara Garden that makes the whole gardening process much easier. All right, I think that's it for the Thai eggplant grow guide. If you have any tips or suggestions for other vegetables to grow, then let me know, and I'll see you in my next video.